Welcome to the show, presented by VDG Sports. I am your host, Vince Douglas Gregory. What's on my agenda? Hey, what is on my agenda? Calling out sports organizations, calling out sports franchise, calling out sports teams, clubs. Hey, the list can go on and on. I'm just here to tell you the average fan knowledge base has increased tenfold. The average fan's knowledge base has increased. For so many years, for so long, you kept telling us it's a business. It is a business. We showed loyalty through the thick and thin. Teams had up and moved on fan bases just because it was profitable to move and go elsewhere. Teams have threatened or changed the name without considering how it would affect the fans. Granted, it was corrected, or some of these things have or could be corrected, but that's besides the point. The major point, the objective is, bottom line, increase. In other words, it's a business. There's nothing wrong with making money from your business. You're entertaining business, you're entertaining fans and fanatics, and you're giving them a reason to cheer, jeer, yell, and do a lot of other things to show emotion, or do a lot of other things to be happy or sad or any of the other emotions. That's okay. When it's not okay, it's when the greed comes in. It's not okay when the greed is all that matters, when it's all about the dollar bill, when there's nothing else that's left, a soul, nothing else that's left but to maximize profits regardless of anything and everything else. The average fan get priced out of games. Going to a game, going to a match is a small fortune. Who has a small fortune to just not waste, but to use on an experience? Sure, the experience will last forever up until you can't remember things anymore. Sure, the experience is something that you can share forever and ever and ever till it's gone, or till you leave and you corrupt or find a way to corrupt or destroy that experience that was previously so enjoyable. You have to pay a small fortune to get this experience, when at one point this experience was available, readily available to anyone and almost everybody who could just pay the fee. That's being going to the game, the park, or whatever, buying food for you, your family, friends, and whoever, and having a few adult beverages if that's your thing, and spending a little extra cash, moolah, francs, what have you, just because. Now you go. Not only are you just maybe getting one adult beverage or half an adult beverage, because of the price of that is just 3 times or 4 times or even 5 times the amount it used to be. The ticket itself, your nose is bleeding just to say you shared this experience with others. Your nose is bleeding just so you can say you shared this experience with other people. Not to mention parking or how you got there. Not to mention the commute, parking, or how you got there. And eating food there. Some of you have amazing, good, all right, okay food. Others, the majority, the food's terrible. The food is horrible, but yet it costs as though you're eating the best of the best of the best of the best. These cutting corners maximize profit. These cutting corners make sure that the company, the organization, is running smoothly and everything is all right. And not to say if the stadium, arena, the barn, or whatever you play in needs an upgrade or needs to be maintained over the years, instead of digging in your own pocket, instead of forking over your own money, your own funding, you ask the people, you ask the city, you ask the fans, you ask the fanatics, hey, foot the bill, pay the bill or else. Pay the bill or else we are leaving. We'll find someone else to pay the bill, or we'll find another city to say, we'll pay the bill, but we will make the costs trickle down to everyone else through some kind of increase. Is that fair? Because not everybody likes sports. Not everybody like the same team that live in the city. I know. It's an imaginary thought that probably is true. It's an imaginary thought that probably is true, like the Tooth Fairy in the Easter Bunny. But really though, the fanatics, the fans, are smarter than the average bear. They're smarter than what they used to be. No longer are we entertained by others running around in a oval, a circle, being chased by animals and getting the thumbs up, the thumbs down. That's so yesterday. We wasn't born yesterday. We have tools. We have devices. We have things to let us know at the very second of what is going on. It was just a matter of time before we figured out what it is. It was just a matter of time before we figured out what the deal is. However, not everyone cares. Not everyone is upset about it. Not everyone will say that this will be something that keeps me away from what I care for deeply and love. That's fine. I'm not speaking for everybody. I just gave you that point of view. But I'm gonna continue the other point of views as well. It's not a singular voice, but the data, the numbers, the records, and everything else shows that, hey, some things are happening, some things are changing, and this unconditional love isn't what it seems. It just isn't what it used to be back in the day. Playing for the badge, playing for the club, playing for the shield, and any other adjective that means organization. That isn't enough now. Fans have seen. We saw how some of our favorite athletes have been treated over the time. when we told it's just the business. We seen how some businesses are run. Some of these sports organizations run like amazing businesses. Others are ran very poorly. It's two sides to a coin. Two sides to a coin. Some organizations would choose to pump money back into the team, pump money back into the system, because winning is contagious. Winning breeds more. Yeah, winning brings in more fandom. Winning does so much. It's free publicity. It's free commercials. It's free. It's a lot of things that winning can bring, and some organizations recognize that, while other organizations recognize that cutting the most corners is the best way forward and the best way to do this. I'm not up here saying or singing what each and every organization should do. I'm just up here trying to warn each and every organization that the old way you used to do things, it's just not gonna work anymore. The old ways of doing things is just not going to work, because the fan base is a lot smarter now. No longer having the paper bag over your head and being okay with it and accepting it is the dealio. No longer just being amazed that the team gets a couple of appearances in playoffs, appearances in some kind of system, that it's okay now. Yay, we're satisfied. Why? Because everything, the overall picture, because we see the ones that go to the game, the ones that go to the matches, the ones that want to go, being priced out. They're scratching their head. They're pulling their hair out. They're wondering, why is it I no longer can see what I love? Why is it I can no longer share this experience with other people like me, because I'm being priced out? Why is it that I can't share this with my friends and family, people that I care about, people I don't care about, people I just want to banter, people I just want to say you're number one, giving the universal symbol that you are number one. You know, the finger. The days of hoping and wishing that your team can be good or great, that's over with for most fans and most fanatics. Think about it. It was just a matter of time before the fanatic decide to go a little cray-cray. It was just a matter of time before the fanatic decide that enough's enough. You can only cage your spirit animal for so long before the spirit animal get a little taste of freedom, and then a spirit animal just say, I want to be free. And it's going to do everything in its power to be free. It's going to bite, it's going to kick, it's going to scream. And once it gets free, all bets are off. Thinking that your favorite player, when he leave to go to the rival team, thinking that that's not a good thing. He's a traitor. He's a bad person. All of that's over now. Sure, there's a few who still believes that, but it's not many. What most understand is it's a business. You told us this. He has to feed his family. This is what he This is what he does to make a living. And if he's not playing for your team, he's got to go and play for another team. He's got to go and play for another team. He has to continue his living. He's got to continue his way of life or making a living. And so be it. It became the rival team. Fans understand that. There's no getting deeply, deeply upset and angry at the fact that it's not good. Why did he go there? Sure, there are a few who feel that way, but it's the vocal minority. Don't worry about them. The majority understand. The majority can think through things. The majority can think on a certain level. Maybe. The ire turns to the organization. Why couldn't you keep this player? Unless he needed to go. Unless he wasn't good enough. And that flips things back on his head. What if the player wants to stay? What if the player wants to stay and the fans and the organization decides that this is time to go because he's just not good enough anymore? He understands. It's a business. Is he flipping out going ape crazy? Or batty? Or whatever the cage animal, whatever the spirit animal is. Is he flipping out going cray-cray because this is the case? Is he flipping out, or she flipping out and going cray-cray because this is the case? The organization that he came up with, that gave him an opportunity, that gave him a chance, that put food on the table, that basically changed his life forever. You don't think there's some hurt feelings in that involved? It worked both ways. Most of us understand that. That's why the old way of doing things is just not going to cut it anymore. Sports organizations, sports teams, sports empires, sports ... insert, give it whatever name you want. It's just not gonna fly anymore. It's a new day, a new age, a new time. But prices are increasing. Salaries are going up. Things happen. Some businesses are ran poorly. Some businesses are ran amazing. But to think that the fans are not going to understand or refusing to understand greed is a different story. We can accept the business. We understand the business. You've told us about the business for so many years, for so long. The majority of us, and some of us who are young or teenagers now, that's all they heard from day one. It's a business. So don't you expect that at some point they became business experts? After saying for so long that it's a business, after understanding how the business works, after understanding the system of the business, and when you make changes to the structure, when things change, but not for the better, for the overall experience, but for the betterment of you, the business, the corporation, the system of the organization, you don't think that the experts now, the fanatics who grew up as it being a business, that they don't see, that they don't understand, that they aren't laser beam focused on what is happening? That takes this to a whole different level. That takes this past the greed. That take this into the I just don't give a woo wait. I almost said something, but I did not, because this is still a family program. This takes this to a different level, past greed, to the I just don't care about you. I'm here to make money. I am here to make money, which is fine. I am here to maximize profits, which is fine. But I'm here to do it on your back, in spite of your feelings, in spite of everything. I'm just here to say, you might want to rethink that strategy. You might want to rethink the strategy. You might want to ask some friends of a friends who are common folks or common people of what's really happening. Because obviously you ain't getting the memo, and I'm just here to warn. I'm just here to warn. Don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.